Hello everyone, my name is Kylie Freilich and I'm your instructor for EDSP 102, Section 803. The purpose of this video is for me to review the syllabus for you and kind of go a little more in detail about everything you'll see on that document. So for the purposes of viewing this video, you may wish to pull up the syllabus on D2L or via email. I send it to you via email, or if you have a printed copy, whatever works best. So first, a little bit about me. As I said, my name is Kylie Freilich. I'm a third-year PhD student here at IUP studying school psychology. I have some history background working in family-based mental health services, behavior specialist work. I've worked with the prison population a little bit, done some volunteer work with domestic violence survivors. So I've dabbled in a couple different things, but ultimately my goal is to become a school psychologist. So once I'm finished up with my schooling here, that's the goal, for me to work in a school with children for their mental health and academic needs. So now I'll start to go through the syllabus with you. Forgive me if I'm looking off to the side. The purpose is just for me to read off my screen. So this course will meet online via D2L, so we won't have any in-person meetings. It's strictly an online course. So you will need to be checking the D2L page multiple times throughout the week. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but you'll need internet access, whether that's at IUP, on an IUP computer, or at home, or on your personal device. But you will need a computer to access D2L. I have office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 2:15 and 3:15 p.m., but I'm always open to meet with you by appointment, because I know those times aren't going to work with everyone's schedule. So even though this is an online course, I'm available to meet in person, and I'll try my best to check in with these videos here and there throughout the semester, and I'm really responsive to emails as well. So we'll do our best to accommodate the online format, but try to get a little bit of a classroom personal feel in the course as much as we can. So a little bit about the course. It's designed to introduce you to the principles of psychology as they relate to human behavior, with a particular emphasis on learning in a variety of environments. So in the school, in home, workplace, community, etc. The objectives for this course include, whoops, scrolled a little too far ahead, sorry about that. You, at the end of this course, should be able to describe and apply the major tenets of behavioral, social, and cognitive learning theories as they relate to interpersonal and intrapersonal human behavior across the lifespan. You should be able to apply theories and methods of psychology to the manner in which people acquire skills, knowledge, and attitudes in a variety of settings. You should demonstrate how to structure an instructional environment to maximize learning in multiple settings. You'll be able to apply individual and group similarities and differences related to diversity and to personal and professional endeavors. And lastly, you'll be able to apply, ideally, the knowledge of psychology to develop a philosophy for promoting growth and development in your personal and professional life. We'll talk a little bit more about that last objective, because that's kind of the culminating objective for this course, which is also an assignment. So as I've emailed you a few weeks ago, you are required to have a textbook for this course. The textbook is Educational Psychology Theory and Practice, the 12th edition. I've had some questions about former editions, if those are appropriate or feasible for this course, and unfortunately I can't speak to that question because I haven't seen any prior additions to this textbook. Sometimes it's the case that there's not much of a difference between the textbook and previous editions, especially if they're as similar as maybe 11 to 12. but sometimes things can change vastly. So my recommendation would be to go with the 12th edition, and I've given you some links to some, I think, financially feasible options, particularly if you rent the textbook. You can get it for as low as, I think, $30. So to err on the side of caution, I would go with the 12th edition because we will have readings every week that come from that, and I wouldn't want you to be at a disadvantage if some of the information we're talking about isn't included in a prior edition of the textbook. There's some additional required readings that we'll have throughout the semester, mostly related to diversity. Those are the assignments that are listed there. I will provide those to you as PDFs, and I will announce them as they're due throughout the semester. But that list is not exhaustive. It's likely that we'll have some other assignments or readings throughout the semester. There are some videos that you're required to watch throughout the semester, but I'll get to that in a minute. You'll have assignments due related to these videos. And then also I try my best to incorporate some different videos into the lessons so that you have different modalities of instruction. So you'll have some PowerPoints, some maybe links or articles to read, some videos to watch to supplement some of these concepts. So it's really important that you're watching all of those supplementary videos to really reinforce the concepts that we're teaching in this class. So moving on to the course requirements and evaluation methods, I'm just going to walk through the different assignments that you'll have due throughout the semester. You will have a few discussion board posts. In fact, one is the first one is coming up in week 1. That'll be due in week 1. They're intended to familiarize you with, one, the appropriate technology. Also, it's designed to foster some communication between you and your peers in the course. Since it is an online format, this is one way we can get a little bit more collaboration between you and other students. And of course, most importantly, not most importantly, all of these points are very important, but the last purpose is to get you to react to the material presented, to have you thinking critically about these concepts and discussing them with your peers. So you will be responsible for a total of 5 original posts throughout the semester, and for each post you are responsible for responding to 2 of your peers' posts. So you need 1 original comment, 2 comments to your peers on every single discussion board post. And I'm going to be frank, I'm a little bit more picky than maybe some instructors when it comes to the content that I'm expecting in your original post and your reply. I do not want to see replies that are just in agreement or disagreement with the post. You really have to be thinking critically about your peers' posts and responding to them in a way that you're supporting, you're justifying your agreement or disagreement with their posts. So I don't want to see any, I really like your post, this was awesome, I agree, good job. While all of that is great and it's nice to give your peers some compliments, you really have to be thinking more critically on those posts to earn points. There's a detailed rubric attached in this syllabus, and on D2L is a separate document for you to reference whenever you're making that discussion board posts. Every single week you will have a check for understanding activity, with the exception of the first week and I believe spring break and the last week, but all of that's outlined in the course calendar. Every single week you will view a lecture that I provide to you on D2L. You will review any outside articles or watch supplementary videos that I post on D2L. And then I will pose a number of questions for you to respond to in a Word document. And then you post that on D2L every single week just for me to review. And every single week I will go through these assignments and I will embed detailed feedback in your Word document and clarify any areas of misunderstanding that you may have, or tell you when you're doing a great job with something when you have the right idea, you're thinking correctly about these concepts. So the purpose of those is really to for you to have an opportunity to describe your learning, and importantly for me to give you a lot of feedback on what you've presented to me. You will also have a total of 4 online quizzes throughout the semester worth 25 points each. They may contain multiple choice, true, false, or short answer questions. And you will have 2 hours to complete them. You will also have classroom observation reflections throughout the semester. There's a total of 5 of them due. And this is a requirement through the Department of Education. So you are required to watch videos that I will post the information about throughout the semester, and ultimately reflect on them and answer the questions that are indicated in the rubric for this assignment. So I will say, admittedly, that sometimes the rubric for this assignment does not mesh perfectly well with the videos, but I am going to post another video of me explaining that assignment a little more to you, giving you a little more guidance on how to earn the most points for that assignment. So you'll see on the syllabus there's also some instructions on how to access those videos, but I'll talk a little bit more about that in detail in the other video, like I said. And your last assignment of the semester is your educational philosophy paper. Similar to the classroom observation reflections, I'm going to post some more detailed instructions about this paper, but ultimately it's kind of a culminating activity where you're reflecting on your philosophy, your understanding of the different domains that we will cover throughout the semester. And this paper is worth 55 points and should be really no less than 5 pages. I'm not super strict on page length, but I don't imagine that you could accomplish the objectives of this paper in really any less than that. So watch for that video in the future. I'll be posting some more information about that for you. And importantly, very, 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 very importantly, all of your assignments, with the exceptions of the quizzes and discussion board posts, which are solely completed on D2L, all of your other assignments, your classroom observations, check for understandings, educational philosophy paper, all must be submitted as Word documents. I will not accept any PDF documents or other formats of documents for those assignments. So if you submit a PDF or any other document type outside of a Word document, you will receive a 0 for that assignment. The purpose of this is because I want to give you very detailed feedback on all of your assignments, and the way that I can accomplish that best is through Word, where I can embed feedback to you, upload it on D2L, and then you review it. That just seems to be what works best. And the good news is everyone as an IEP student is able to get Word, I believe, at no cost to them. If you don't already have the application downloaded on your personal device, I provided a link to the IUP Support Center's site that will give you very explicit, detailed instructions on how to download that application on your computer. And if you're still having trouble, I would recommend going to IT for support. They should be able to get you straightened out there. And also, all the IUP computers that you should have access to in the library or computer labs will have Word on them, I believe. So next, the course schedule is presented in the syllabus, and I'm not going to walk through that week by week in this video, but that's going to be very important for your reference. My recommendation to you is, if you have your own calendar or schedule modality that works for you best, take some time in week 1, take this course schedule, map it onto your agenda or calendar in week 1. So everything is already there for you. So you can just open it up and look at it every week. Or if you just want to print a copy of this out, have it on hand, reference it every week, whatever method works best for you. The best way to ensure that you're on track for this online course is to just consistently reflect on and reference the course schedule. It's pretty explicit. Every different column has information related to the date. So that tells you exactly the beginning of the week and the end of the week for this course. So for week 1, for example, everything opens on January 21st. So January 21st at 12 a.m., you are able to view all of the content for week 1, and then everything will close on January 25th at 11:59 p.m. And that's always going to be the case for this class. Everything will be due on the final date of the week under the date column in your course calendar at 11:59 p.m. So you are able to submit your assignments anytime from the beginning of the week to the end of the week at that time at 11:59 p.m. and you won't be penalized for any late documents submitting within that time frame. And you can kind of work at your own pace as long as it's within those parameters. In the next column, you'll see the topic for the week. That'll tell you what we're discussing that week, what the content's going to be. It should usually have the chapter aligned with it as well. And then the readings that are due will always be in the next column. And then the activity or assignment that's due is in the final column. So take a look over that. Like I said, I recommend putting that in your calendar, your schedule, whatever works best for you. I'm a Google Calendar person, so I like to put everything in there, but I just made that shift like 2 years ago. Before that, I was pen and paper with everything. So next, there's some class rules, policies, and guidelines that I'm not going to read over in detail in this video, but I recommend reading through them yourself. Importantly, you will be expected to use APA format for all of your assignments in this course. So that includes adhering to grammar, spelling, word usage, font size, spacing, logistical formatting. Everything should be in APA. So at minimum, for your check for understanding activities that are due weekly, I would expect that you use Times New Roman, 12-point font. You should have double-spaced papers. And for the final paper, I'll expect a little more adherence to APA, including a title page, reference page. But I will give you some more instruction on that closer to that time. But please follow that link to Purdue OWL and look over those APA formatting guidelines if you're unfamiliar with them. Or I always recommend going to the Writing Center here at IUP, where you can get a lot of really great, valuable instruction on how to use APA. And maybe even some shortcuts to using APA on your personal device. All of your assignments, as I said, will be due in accordance with the timeline in your course calendar, but I will accept late submissions with a 10% deduction per day, per calendar day after the original due date. But it is your responsibility to notify me if an assignment is late. So if you submit an assignment that was due Saturday at 12:59, on Sunday, because something came up Saturday, you submit it on Sunday at noon, I will consider that for grading only if you send me an email and you let me know that it was late. I don't need an explanation why it was late, but you have to email me and let me know. If you don't let me know that your assignment's late, even if it's 5 minutes late, I'm not going to grade it at all, and you will get a 0. So as long as you're letting me know if something is late, I will accept it with that deduction, 10% per day. Please read over the policies for academic dishonesty. Please read over the disability policy. I actually was an advisor in the Department for Disability Access and Advising here at IUP for the last couple of years. So I'm really eager to work with anyone who receives accommodations through this department. If that is the case, please reach out to me, let me know, and we will discuss how best to meet your needs. Or if you're interested in learning more about what they have to offer, if you believe you have a disability or you know you have a disability, I'd be happy to talk with you about that as well, or send you to the right parties who can explain that information to you. Please read over also the Title IX policy. And lastly, please take a really detailed look at the rubrics for every assignment in this course that are appended in the syllabus. My greatest recommendation to you is to pull those out whenever you're completing an assignment. Have it in hand or on your computer, and make sure that you're including every criteria listed on the rubric. That's the easiest way to get the maximum amount of points that you can in this course. If you even want to print it out, check it off, or whatever works best for you, I recommend doing that. And please, please, please always proofread, double check your work. That's a pet peeve of mine when I see a lot of careless errors. So it's a really good way to save yourself some points too, as long as you're double checking that work. So I believe that's all I have for the syllabus. If you have any questions about this, please shoot me an email, let me know, and I'll be happy to respond to you. Speaking of which, I usually respond to emails within 24 hours business days. So it's really important that if you have questions for assignments that you're asking them as early in the week as you can, because if you send an email on late Friday or anytime Saturday, things are due Saturday night, I'm likely to not get back to you until the beginning of the next week. So make sure you're checking things early in the week. Reach out to me as soon as you can if you have questions or concerns about anything. And I'm really looking forward to working with you all this semester. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll do our best to keep in contact and make this class, this online class, as personable as we can and keep these lines of communication open. So again, I look forward to working with you, and good luck with the rest of your courses this semester.